We begin tonight with a live look out over Steamboat. After a dry and warm winter so far, snow has finally returned to the mountains this week. Some relief finally as people head up to ski on a long holiday weekend. Down here in Denver, a very different story. It remains hot. We're even talking about fire danger. Corey Reppenhagen joins me tonight. We really get a little bit of both. We could use more snow, but we're getting some. But this front range weather is kind of hot.
Yeah, we're getting some up in the high country. Steamboat, for example, got more than a foot of snow over the last 3 days. But down here, we just can't catch a break. Winter is just not come yet, and it doesn't look like it's going to. So we're going to stay warm and dry. Here's the night here in the Denver metro area. We're in the 30s and 40s across the town of the Mile High City, but we didn't make it to 60 today. So we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to break that record, or at least tie it tomorrow, break it on Monday. The most 60-degree days in a single winter season. And we could also tie the daily record. The high temperature record for tomorrow is 67 and our forecast is 67. So we could be right in there for tying two records tomorrow. Here's the next 3 days in Denver, even warmer on Monday. And then the winds kick up pretty good on Tuesday. So we'll be talking about some elevated grass fire danger. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Corey, thank you. Snow's great. We need more of it. Colorado's snowpack has dropped to record lows this season, and we're already seeing the impact. Ice fishing tournaments canceled statewide. Marinas like Frisco Bay on Lake Dillon, they're halting boat ramp operations. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez has more on what this all means for Colorado's season on the water.
When you race, racing is like chess, and it's not low-level chess where you're just looking at what the next move is. High-level chess is looking at what you are 5 moves.
For Colorado sailors talking strategy for the upcoming season, this year's lake levels have already changed the game.
You know, I expect to see smaller numbers on the water, but I don't expect to see no racing.
Curtis Rist is the leader, or Commodore, for the Sailing Association of Intermountain Lakes.
We're primarily a support for all the clubs. We're not dictating how they race and when they race, but we're vehemently aware of what's going on.
Here's what's going on. The warm weather this winter has left Colorado with its lowest snowpack in nearly 40 years, which spells trouble for Dillon Reservoir in Summit County and all of the businesses and recreation that rely on it. Frisco Bay Marina says drought conditions will shut down boat slips and the boat ramp this summer, with seasonal staffing reduced by 17%.
So there's a group sailing at Granby. We're seeing it obviously at Dillon. Denver Sailing Association races at Cherry Creek. I suspect we won't see as many keel boats in, and if we do, they'll go in and may come out really early.
The warm winter has already canceled several seasonal events around the state. That includes an ice fishing tournament in Oak Creek, ice racing on Georgetown Lake, and a pond hockey tournament in Keystone. Curtis says when it comes to water levels for sailing, it's a waiting game.
We're just kind of looking at the water and figuring out who's going to sail and who's going to race.
Curtis tells me that some Colorado sailors may look outside of the state for some better conditions. But he says the sailing season is just one example of the ripple effects that we could see this summer if those water levels continue to drop. Colton Chavez, 9 News.
All right, Colton, thank you. Authorities say they have now identified the 4 people who were killed in a small plane crash near Steamboat Springs yesterday. All 4 were from out of state. Routt County Coroner's Office says the victims are 47-year-old Aaron Stokes, 21-year-old Jackson Stokes, 21-year-old Colin Stokes, and 37-year-old Austin Husky. Our sister station in Nashville says that Jackson Stokes was Aaron's son and Colin Stokes was his nephew. A preliminary report from the FAA says this crash happened under unknown circumstances, but near Emerald Mountain just after midnight Friday morning. There is a full investigation still ongoing. Hockey is in full swing at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, and one of the guys making sure that ice is perfect for Olympic athletes also makes sure the ice is perfect for the Colorado Avalanche. Matt Renew is live in Italy tonight for us. Matt, the Avs have a whole bunch of players who are competing in the Olympics, and now one of their guys on their ice crew, he's out there too.
You're right, Jen. His name is Don Moffitt, and if you've ever been to an Avs game, you've probably seen Don driving a Zamboni on Colorado ice. Here in Italy, his job is the chief ice master. He's got to make sure that the ice is nice for the world's best hockey players.
at the Santa Julia Ice venue at the 2026 Winter Olympics.
The logo is very pretty.
Don Moffitt has a big job.
I'm Don Moffitt, and I'm the chief ice maker for hockey at the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics.
Back home in Colorado,
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Don helps take care of the ice for the Colorado Avalanche.
Part of the ice crew there and install the ice and then drive the machine, the Zamboni, during the games.
And now he's taking care of Olympic ice,
The expectations are a lot higher.
where there are more games in a day on ice,
Everybody wants to go there and get a picture at center ice.
and says is over a temporary tubing floor instead of concrete and will sound a lot different when the players start their games.
This is a temporary ice system. We're not directly on concrete, so we're on some insulation and then some soft tubing. So the first thing they're going to notice when they step on the ice here is the sound. It's going to be much louder than what they're used to.
And after working at several other Olympics, Don says he likes to hear from the best skaters in the world, some from the Colorado Avalanche.
Obviously, we have two of the best, in Nate and Cale McCarr. So I hope to get a chance to talk to them a little bit and just kind of see what they think.
Just to make sure that at the biggest sporting event on the planet, he's got the best ice on the planet.
I want people to say, that it's the best ice they've skated on.
Don's doing a great job. He's been to 5 Olympics now, and he says what he loves the most about it is working with different people in high-stress situations where there are great expectations. Certainly have them out here at the 2026 Winter Olympics with NHL players on that ice. Reporting from the 2026 Winter Games, I'm Matt Renew, 9 News. Jen, of all the jobs out here, the ice maker for hockey is one of the hardest because when you look at the competition schedule, only hockey and curling have events that start before opening ceremony and then run every single day throughout the stretch of the Olympics.
So it's a long job. They're there for a long time. It's so cool that he gets to do that. I love that story. All right, Matt. Well, thank you. Nice to see you from Italy.
You bet. Thanks, Jen.